This step is going to show you how you add color. Now, with the background, since it's white, you can go ahead and even use this as one of your colors that you're thinking about using. And it's using the paint bucket, making sure you're in the background, and dump the color in. So you can see it already kind of changes the look of it. So the idea is that each space here, this negative space, is going to be have color added to it, and it'll be dumped into the negative space. I'm not planning to put any color inside the positive space, meaning the black, but inside the negative space. So the idea is going to be where you're going to use the magic wand tool. We're going to learn to change the settings on this a little bit to make it a little bit more optimum for what we're going to be doing. So use the magic wand tool. Now if you click on add, what it'll do is it'll keep adding areas to your selection. Sorry, I was in the wrong layer. You're in this graphic design layer, and it's going to select areas, but it'll keep selecting other areas. So the areas that I'm selecting, you can see that they are surrounded. So you should be able to understand that when you hit the magic wand tool, since it's surrounded by black, it's going to just have the selection in that area there. But if you select this negative space over here, you can see you have a much larger area. So you want to kind of contain these areas a bit because you don't want huge patches of color like that. It's kind of like out of your control. So before you do anything else, before you start dumping the colors in, you're going to find a nice flat, nice hard brush, and you're going to go ahead and in that same layer where the black is, you're going to go ahead and put some lines in to surround some areas. Now they could be between letters, like right here. Oh, sorry, wrong color. I'm glad I'm making all these mistakes. Let's see what not to do. Okay, so they could be kind of subtle, and you can kind of imagine being the magic wand tool. So that's all contained, but then when you get over here, it's going to spill out. So you can contain it here. So that's a pretty decent area right in there. And you can see this will spill out over here, so let's block that up. Let's block that up. Now I'm kind of doing this so it's not as noticeable. Bring this out over here. So in the whole grand scheme of things, you're not really going to see those lines. If you decide to, you can go ahead and make the tool a little bit smaller and be a little bit more sneaky about it, but you don't want it to be too noticeable. So I'm containing certain areas going around, so you should have a little bit more control. Over here there's a huge area because MacLab, those letters are really far apart. Sometimes you might just want to go ahead and just kind of draw a line throughout here, even though it's pretty noticeable. Sometimes it's the only way out. So that's a pretty decent area there. Same thing here, just bring that down. Maybe have this kind of go into the S there. Okay. You can go back and do this over to a certain degree later on if you feel like you want to add more. Alright, so every layer, or I'm sorry, every color is going to have its own layer. So let's say that I know that I want to use the color red. I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer. I'm going to name this red. Can you change this later? Absolutely. So now I'm going to go ahead and go to this layer here. I'm going to make my selection. I'm going to select some areas, and I'm on add to selection, so it'll keep on adding more and more spaces. And you can see these spaces now are a bit smaller, so they should be pretty nice. If you want to undo a selection, let's say that you don't want this space anymore, you hit the subtract and it'll take it away. Now I'm kind of going all over the place, and it's kind of like a little bit of a method to my madness. I want to make sure that these spaces are kind of evenly distributed. Okay, you can see maybe right here, we'll see if we can find another spot. This might be too big. Yeah, I'm going to undo that. Maybe we'll go with a couple of circles in there, maybe one more in there. Yep, I like that. So now we're going to go to this layer red. I'm going to select that color. Now, when we use the paint bucket, you can go ahead and dump that in, and notice that everything is going to be dumped in with that red. So that works out well. Before you leave it, you might want to take a look and see if there's any more red that you want to add. You can always add it later. Okay, so again, you're going to add a new layer for every color. Let's say that we're going to use I don't know, green kind of color, and you're going to go ahead and find that green. It's almost like a yellow. You're going to go ahead, use the magic wand tool, go back to graphic design, make your selection. Okay, you can double check it. Make this invisible so you can see it. Too much. Oops. You can also undo it, by the way. That's better. Let's go in here. Okay. And then use the paint bucket, go to the green layer, dump it in. Okay. So that's essentially it. A couple of other things that you can do, I'm going to do in the next video because this took quite a bit of time.